can buy Lightroom for $150.
Lightroom is a raw processor. It is not a pixel editor. Therefore, it can't exercise precise control over the editing of your file. It can exercise generalized controls. You guys tried the adjustment brushes in Lightroom and Camera Raw. Camera Raw suffers from the same impediment. A raw processor, at least in today's jargon, is a very limited controller of fine nuance of detail and adjustment. Just like in thinking through where the photographic craft in the previous era really took place, it was not only up front in the camera where the primary craft takes place, it was in the development of the film and the executing of a very careful print. Well, in that very careful print and the developing of the film, we now have these metaphors of the raw processing and then the very careful image editing. If you take only the raw processing, it's almost as though you're taking just the development aspect of the film and leaving out all of the interpretive processes you could be bringing in the burning and dodging and the making of the print. The metaphors don't fit exactly, but I think you get the general idea. The control you can exercise in Photoshop, once I show you that level of control, you will never want to be without it. And that's not to say I'm a shill for Adobe trying to get you to buy a $600 or $800 piece of program, whatever it is right now. That's why I would encourage you to just get an older version that somebody else is selling if the price of the new version is too steep. Because the pixel by pixel control, the ability to have really careful management of tone, tone relations, color in one place, one way, and then trying to ameliorate problems in another. For instance, an overemphasis of shadows that might be overly blue in a daylight color balance. Trying to do that in a raw processor is crude and almost impossible. Yet in Photoshop, it is so splendidly easy that it almost becomes miraculous. Have I made my case? So anyway, I'm a strong advocate of finishing your photograph in a pixel editor like Photoshop and doing your absolute best to draw the raw data out in a raw processor to prepare it for actual serious editing in Photoshop. When I conduct a fine art printing course, I end up having to spend so much time on image editing because people don't know how to edit their images. And part of the reason they're getting prints that are far less they can be is because they don't know how to edit their files. And some of that is because they've never used Photoshop. So I've been teaching this subject for 20 years and teaching for more than 35. So believe me, I know the difference. I've been involved with the raw processors since before Adobe even flirted with them. So I know the power of a raw processor, and I'm not at all shy about telling you to shoot raw and then very carefully develop the image. But then when it comes to the possible advantages you have by taking that into a real pixel editor, the advantage is enormous. Almost beyond what I can characterize with words. I could almost get with you. No, it's that kind of difference.